Welcome back, everybody. Rudy, Alpha Investments. I'm very honored and proud to discuss you guys with the Flesh and Blood card game and to discuss what I've been working on for the last 4 months now. I started discussing an open communication with this company in December of 2019, and they sent me a bunch of products for me to actually look at it. I handed a bunch out locally. I wanted to test play it. I wanted to see what this game was. So before we go any further, number one, I have not been given any cash to make these videos. I don't own part of the company. Nothing creepy or nothing weird like that. I'm just always on the lookout for the up and coming or something that actually I think has the ability to sustain. And obviously recently I did the Argent Saga, huge success. I know they got an expansion coming out soon, and I want to continue to work with the Argent Saga guys. I've had no problems. Everybody's been very happy with that product. Huge success. Now, the Flesh and Blood one, this is a whole different beast, everyone. All the way from New Zealand. It's been a long time since I've seen a type of card and a type of game that was built and discussed this way. I don't know how else to say it, but it reminds me of a 90s, early 2000s style, like a fighting game type thing, but it has those elements of just the Diablo and the Path of Exile, where at the beginning you choose your character or your class or your commander, as the Magic guys would say. And you get items, like unique items, like equipment, like on your board state. You get to have like a helmet and weapons, and you have like it's really, and then you kind of the way you battle your opponent. And normally, you start with 20 life points, just like Magic. And of course, if you have a different leader or commander, or a hero they call it, you can maybe start with a higher life total. But just the design of it and the fact there's no mana screwing, it has the resources engineered differently with the cards. More similar to like a Force of Will, where there's not quite with 2 decks, but like Force of Will had, but it has that stability for resources where you don't get all lands or no lands like in Magic, one of the core components that people complain about in the world of Magic. And I'm just honored to share it all with you all. So officially, as of this video, I just want to announce the plans, what's going on. These are what the booster boxes look like. And of course, my absolute favorite, they have the old school starter bricks, everybody. Talking old school starter bricks. Man, if that doesn't bring back memories, I don't know what does to everybody. These cards are printed by Cardamundi, the same company who makes Magic. There is some epic artwork. We have a spoiler video of I have an actual spoiler card, a real one for Flesh and Blood. They even hired Steve Argyle from Magic, infamous Liliana Magic, to design and paint this new artwork for the card I'm going to show you guys. I mean, I'm really genuinely impressed, and I hope it works out good. That's where we're at. That's what I'm going to show you. So, of course, before this video ends, I'm going to cut over to a down view camera, and I'm going to show you kind of a generic, like a game state of how it looks with your deck. You put your commander or your hero down, and how you have your weapon and armor and items, and how you kind of attack your opponent. Like, it's just, it's very difficult, and I know people don't understand the complexities to engineer a new card game, and then especially to engineer a new card game that has a balanced kind of component of risk reward, card level, the strength, the rarities. It is very challenging to do. And the fact that these guys have spent years, I think it's been in development for like 5 to 10 years now, 7 years I think I've heard, of trying to tweak this and make it work is fascinating. How every card that's in your hand has the ability, you can pitch it, and you can get mana or resources from any card in your hand. There's no basic land, there's no card. And you don't want to do that to the wrong card, because once you pitch it for mana or resources, then you can't really cast it and play it, because you convert it for it's just really interesting. And I do believe this has the potential to actually stand the test of time and move forward. Similar to Argent Saga, similar to some of the other card games we talked about. I was very bearish after I saw the direction Final Fantasy took. I was really unhappy. I was very frustrated with the game because they didn't manage it well. I was very frustrated with like the Dragon Ball Super. I was watching that unfold, and I was hoping it was going to continue to skyrocket and do well, and it was poor management. The game itself was good, but the management wasn't in place. And this time, to see a card game come out that's focused on the secondary market, there's already a secondary market on multiple websites and eBay. I'm like, really? And to see them monitor it, Made by Card Monday, premium card stock, and the foiling. Let me tell you something. They have this cold foiled cards, and then they have the regular foiling, like a rainbow regular foiling. But these cold foil variants are really cool. The way they're subtle and they accent kind of, I don't know, the metallic of the card. I have no idea. I don't know how that crap works. So I want to introduce everybody to the game. That's the purpose of this video. Obviously be aware, in the next 7 days, I am going to be running my one-time promotional variety kit working with this company. I've made 400 variety kits. We did a similar thing with Argent Saga. We sold out in 48 hours. It was a great experience. Everybody had a blast. This one being even more like fancy schmancy. I'm hoping we can last 48 hours. Same thing as the other one. Super excited to do it. This is a one-time thing. We're going to pretty much try to get the product out there. The goal of this is to get as much of the product as we can out there at a super cheap, below market price. Try to get like 40 to 60 cents on the dollar. We want all of it. We just want to get as many people trying as possible, because I believe that you need to try a product to see if I'm full of crap, if it really sucks, and I want to see everybody else's feedback. Locally, the 20, 30 people I've tested it with in the last 90 days, overall, it's been like a 90 percentile of just people responding saying this is really unique and this is something I would buy. Which is the other 10 people thought it was too complicated and it was too complex for them. They like simpler card games. So, which is maybe what's luring it to me. I just, I like the direction of it. So I wanted to introduce everybody. That's what we have coming up. This is what the Flesh and Blood game is. All the way from New Zealand. Printed by the same Card of Monday Magic printers. And of course, we have epic artist Steve Argyle. Wait, I got a promo. Wait till you see it. And I'm going to flip over. I'm going to show you guys what the cards are. I'm just very excited to bring something in addition to Magic and Force Will and other things to the channel. It's just something we don't get to do this often, as you guys know on my channel, but I'm really excited to offer it. So tell me what you guys think. All right, so we want to go over some details and some basic stuff. I'm not going to teach you guys how to play, but I at least want to show you what this game is and why it's just something I'm really impressed by and excited by, and I want to share it with you all, because this is a product line I do plan on carrying in the foreseeable future. Obviously not the promotional special thing, one-time promo to kind of launch this thing next week. That's going to be a one-time shot. So anyways, as you guys know, Legend Story, the quality of everything these people do is just stunning. It's just like, wow. So anyways, they just gave me a nice thing. Welcome to the Flesh and Blood community. Look forward to working with you guys. And they are big into the LGS supports. They are big into making sure the cards have value, the rarity and everything. So these little sample decks are kind of what I'm going to go over and show you guys. I got an open one here, and I want to actually show you all some of the details on kind of how this stuff works. So I want to just give everyone a basic understanding of what this card game is in this video. For example, we're going to start off. This is your play board. This is your play state here. I know you've seen in the background some of my videos. I want to explain what all this actually is, though. So first things first. This has, like I've told you guys, this has themes of the Diablo, Path of Exile, dungeon crawler type, but in a card game version. You kind of have some of your, your headgear, your chest, arms. You actually have some of your equipment. You have your weapon, your hero, some cards you can use in case emergency, as I call it. And then your regular decks, graveyard, and I guess if things get exiled or banned. And the pitch is pretty much how you pay for things, just your casting cost. So let me kind of give everybody a quick rundown here. So this is going to be our hero. So I think a good way to say this is kind of like Commander. You have a commander. So your hero is your main person. You have to kind of choose your hero, your class. Kind of like when you start a game of Diablo or Path of Exile, you choose your character that you start. This particular one is a ninja class. So that means there are cards that you can only build around this type of deck on what you choose. So you always put your hero in the center. Okay, now what that means is in the bottom, 20 life points, just like Magic, all right? Now, there are some more fancy schmancy, upgraded fancy heroes where you can start the game with 40. But for the most part, you start the game with 20 hit points, just like Magic. Not that complicated. This represents your hand size, or intelligence, how smart or stupid you are. So, if you're playing this deck, this little sample deck, your hand size is 4. At the end of every turn, you end with 4 cards. You got 0 in your hand, you draw to 4. You got 2 cards in your hand, you draw 2 more. You always end your turn with 4 cards. That's it. That's what you need to know. So pretty much you have your hero in the middle. And then, of course, you can give your hero a specific weapon when you start the game. So I'm going to choose this basic. It is a ninja weapon, so you have to make sure it matches and your character can actually use the weapon. This is a sword, two-handed, so I can only use this one sword here. And it tells you, every turn, or once per turn, you can pitch one, you can pay one resource, or one mana, whatever you guys want to call it, and you can attack. Attack is 1. Pretty simple. And again, if the attack resolves, you can actually go again. Now here's the thing about this game. Every turn, you get 1 action point. That's all you get. No exceptions, no nothing. So what that means is once you do something, or play a card, or you attack, you are done. That's it. You can't keep attacking 400 times unless the card says you can go again. That's it. You have your combat chain. This is kind of the chain of events during a combat battle. So pretty much, it reminds me of a video game on cards. And it also reminds me of some of the old fighting card games. It was like Universal Fighting Systems. And there were some old card games of fighting style in the 90s that were really popular. And this is like a new, complex, very interestingly designed card game. It is more complicated. It is not a simple, quick-to-learn game to get good at. So be aware. I'm not going to lie to you guys and act like you're going to get this the first time around. So I want to explain that. We're not going to put any armor or equipment on at the start of your game. You can always kind of equip your stuff from your deck or whatever your starting is, and you can kind of custom build your character going into different combats with other players. I thought that was kind of cool. So you can kind of build your own deck, and you can customize your gear as you go into the game to try to, get your opponent to 0. So I find that really neat. I love that concept. So anyways, that's about it. So as far as the cards goes, there's not really a lot of card choices. You pretty much have reaction cards. You have defense reaction, and then you have attacks, and then attack reactions. Do I have an attack? Yeah. Those are pretty much the 3 type of cards. That's about it. I mean, there's really not a lot of cards and everything you can really draw and use. So I always kind of find that kind of wild. I mean, I don't know. Let's pick a good example here. I'm going to take this random attack card. So let's pretend here we play the game. What you do is you get 4 cards in your hand. Let me give you guys an example. All right, so here's my 4 cards in my hand. I started the game. By the way, here's my library. Over here, there's nothing in my graveyard. I'm not wearing any armor because I'm just going to show you guys a simple thing. So I have my 4 cards in my hand. Pretty much, let's see what we got here. The casting cost to play any of these cards is in the top right. So this one costs 0. That's 2, 0, 2. All right, so we got 2 cards we can play that cost 0. And we got 2 cards that cost 2. Now, these cards that cost 0... one is a generic attack, so you can use that with any deck pretty much. And one is a ninja exclusive, must be a ninja deck, to actually attack. Now this one says go again, this one does not. So, as you can see, you're probably going to want to be careful in the order in which you play your cards up here. Because you only get 1 action, and if you don't have a go again, you're done. Now, okay, that's the casting cost, okay, 0, 0, 2, 2. The problem is, I have no resources or mana. I have 0 over here. To get resources, you have to pitch cards. To pitch cards, you got on the top left, if you pitch your card, you dump a card, that's what you can get. If I dump this card, I can get 1 resource. If I dump these, I can get 3. Okay, so let's see, what do I want to do here? So let's dump, let's dump the head jab. This thing gives me 3. So I'm going to pitch this card right here, okay? I'm going to take this card and I'm going to pitch it over here. I now have 3 resources. Just like Magic, at the end of your turn, whatever of those 3 mana resources, if you don't use it, you lose it. There's no mana burn or anything like that. I'm going to pitch this, I get 3. So now I have 3. So I can play, let's play one of these expensive ones. Well, I can't play both because I don't have 4. So I can either use this generic attack, and I can slop you down up here into the combat zone, and I can attack for 4. Okay? I can do that, or I can use this one for, I can pay 2 of my 3 resource, and, this one I can attack for 5. And of course, this one even has a bonus. It plays a chain link of 3 or more, it gains extra attack. Well, we're not playing 3 or more. We just don't have that, so we're not going to get that bonus. So actually, I'm going to go with this 5 here. I think is what I want to go with. The only downside is, obviously, yeah, I'm going to go with the 5. So I'm going to use 2 of my resources. I'm actually going to play my little fancy schmancy ninja attack flying kick there. So I can and I don't really have anything else I can do. Actually, you know what? I think I do, because actually I have 3 resources. I only use 2. I still have 1 resource left. So actually, I should have actually played this first, because it can go again. Then I should have played that. But let's keep it simple. you can attack for 5. If they have any defense reaction cards, let me give you guys an example of a defense. Let me find one here. Let's pretend my opponent has this card for defense. See, defense. They can play this card, okay? So as a defense, 0 casting cost. As a defense, they can block 2. So as you can see, they can play that as a defense to block 2. So that's kind of the concept of the game, everybody. It's not really that exotic. The concept is simple. Just like Magic, get your opponent to 0. But the more you understand the details, the more it gets pretty crazy. Because you have an arsenal down here where you can kind of put a card there at the end of your turn. The only problem is once you do that, you can play it in the future, but you can't pitch it anymore. You can't get resources out of it, but it's kind of like a backup. That's kind of interesting. And then, of course, when you have these other armor cards, like if you have a headgear that says at any time during combat you can destroy your own headgear and you can block 1 extra point of damage. So there's a lot of weird, or maybe there's a headgear that says if you take a lot of damage, you can draw an extra card, or you get extra resource. And you can sacrifice your chest piece or your legs or your gear, and you can kind of help yourself out in different points of the game. That is really neat. That is the coolest thing to me. That is one of my favorite parts of the game. The weapons, same thing. You have other fancier weapons. In this particular one, for example, you can pay your 1 resource. You can once per turn, you can attack. If it actually resolves, you can actually gain your action point back, and you can attack again. And again, but I mean, you still gotta pay for it. So that's pretty much what it is. And then, of course, every hero every commander or hero tends to have a special ability. This one actually says your second attack each turn gets stronger. So the old Ira here, she looking rock star. By the way, epic art, nice old school art there. Do you guys know some of this art? Look at this stuff, very, very neat. Some of the other fancy stuff. Look at some of this art. Actually, I guess I'll just take it out of the case so you guys can see it better. This is a cold foiled card, so it's got some really neat foiling. I'll show you in another video here. A lot of different things, but I wanted to give everybody a general idea, and I think it's really cool and worth the time.